everybody, from Common Room Radio. I'm Sarah Kate Pazant, and I have brought you a contender.
I'm Alistair Stevens. This is the main event.
And I'm Vinton Bain. Yes! We know each other! He's a friend from work!
Welcome to our first ever Excelsior Minisode. We are going to spend the next, we're going to try to keep it like 10 to 15 minutes, but God only knows how. We once did an entire Crisis on Infinite podcast solely on the Captain America Civil War trailer that was about 2 hours long.
We did do that thing.
We did do that thing. That was the thing that we did. It's a great episode. It's very sweet. I got super drunk. Sorry, not sorry. You can check that. I think that's on everybody's Patreon feeds for anyone to listen to. So just go and check that out. It's a lot of fun. But today we are talking about the Thor Ragnarok teaser. Mm-hmm. And I think it's safe to say that we're all surprised. I am surprised at how excited I am about this.
Yeah, me too. I started off pretty indifferent to Thor Ragnarok, honestly, based entirely on the logo.
Right, because...
That is an 80s logo.
I started off really excited because of the logo. I was like, hey, they're making this movie for me. I wonder if that's going to continue. Then I saw the teaser trailer and I said, hey, they're still making this movie for me.
Yeah, they changed the subtitle. It's Thor Ragnarok for Vinton.
Yes.
Yes.
So we're pretty excited.
Yeah.
It's a really good teaser, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
How much do you think this teaser speaks to like the shape of the story? Do you think this is going to be accurate? Is everything that we've seen here in this teaser going to happen in the first half hour of the movie? Are we supposed to think that there's going to be some climactic battle between Thor and Hulk?
I don't think it's going to be like a climatic part of the story. I think this is all set up. I feel like this is where we're starting the film. I think within like the first 25%, maybe we're going to get all of this. Yeah. Because the movie is centered around supposedly Thor and Hulk, and it's been talked about as a buddy road trip. I assume that they're the buddies on the road trip. Or
possibly Thor and Loki.
True.
That's also true, yeah.
Much of the film. I would also like that. I can take both of those things. I'm happy for them. Looking at like classic Marvel 4-act structure, most of the MCU movies have broken down into this 4-act structure. I'm expecting everything that we see here to be in the first half of the movie. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to get our first act is going to be... Well, let's talk about it a little bit, actually, because, okay, let's rewind. Let's talk about the opening. Let's talk about Record Scratch Thor.
I was going to say rewind or scratch the record.
Yeah, let's scratch the record. I suppose you're wondering how I ended up here. Yes, that's me. What do you think about that opening here?
I adore it with all my heart and soul because I'm secretly hoping that this movie is basically Emperor's New Groove, but with Thor and Hulk. This is my desire.
It's a pretty good idea. Pretty good chance.
Yeah.
I think we're looking at that.
Yeah.
That would make Hulk Kronk, obviously, right?
Or Pacha, either one.
Yeah, one of those.
Hela definitely is Yzma, though, so we've got that going on, which is great.
Sure.
Yes.
This is how we ended up talking for 2 hours about a trailer.
I do think that Eartha Kitt could have made a good Hela. Yeah,
I could see that.
Great.
This though is the stamp of Taika Waititi, the director of this movie, who is most well known for What We Do in the Shadows. He has a really comedic sensibility, a really kind of dark comedic sensibility, which I think is going to work apparently beautifully in this film.
Right, yeah.
But the tone of this trailer suggests that this is not going to be like either of the previous Thor movies.
Which is good, right?
I'm down for that.
I think so. It feels like Guardians.
It feels remarkably like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Especially when the spaceships start coming in and then you realize, wonder for a second, am I watching Star Wars? Is Thor in Star Wars?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Welcome to Jakku, Thor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very complicated cross-branding thing. Disney owns both your properties. We're just going to smash these things together.
But I like that you have that humor in contrast with this epic scale of the Valkyrie, the flying feathered beings, the swords, and everything's in slow motion. Led Zeppelin's playing. You're just like, whoa, this feels so epic. Everything's being destroyed. And then you get that humor in there and you're like, oh, this is going to be fun too. This is going to be a great movie.
I think it's really going to work. It's going to have to work to maintain that tone throughout, but I think it is going to. I think I have no trouble at all with that. So let's talk about really what is the first scene in the trailer, which is the destruction apparently of Mjolnir at the hands of Hela.
Yeah.
That appears to be happening on Earth.
Yeah, it seems to. It looks like it might be New York or, I don't know where Thor's hanging out.
Sure.
You can definitely see, like, there are the fire escapes and the ladders and stuff on the sides of the brick building.
It's got that brownstone fire escape.
Yeah, exactly.
New
So
York kind of setup.
I don't think they have that on Asgard. So
it would be weird if they did.
Yes.
That's true.
It doesn't really match their aesthetic.
I've got to tell you, the destruction of Mjolnir gives me chills. I'm amazed that we use that in the trailer. That's the kind of thing I would have expected a less confident production team to leave unsaid.
Yeah.
And then when we get to the gladiatorial arena and Thor's not wielding Mjolnir, then there's speculation and the internet goes crazy. And, hey, did something happen to it? But seeing it, Mjolnir has become, particularly after Age of Ultron, this icon of the MCU, this icon of purity and valor and goodness and all these things. I can't wait to see that unfold and to see how that changes Thor's arc through the movie.
Yeah, well, and it's going to be so interesting because, I mean, we've seen people before try to manipulate Mjolnir. We saw Quicksilver try to grab it out of the air and it just dragged him across the room. Yeah, I regret everything he thought in that instant. We've seen, the team try and pick it up and nobody was able to really move it except for Steve because he's the goodest good boy that there ever was. But we see Hela just like holding it in place and then completely obliterating it.
Yeah. So they show immediately that she is way overpowered.
Yes.
Yeah. A force to be reckoned with. Wow, it's pretty serious. Then we also get glimpses of Hela approaching Asgard, declaiming that Asgard is dead, and we see fire
right
and
after
fury.
you get to see her giant helmet,
like her super cool, like hexadecimal from Reboot helmet. Like it's really cool. Yeah.
References all over the place. Yes. Excellent. I'm curious about the evolution of that character because when we first see her in quote unquote New York, she's wearing the like super goth ripped outfit,
which I'm into.
Hot Topic superhero.
So hot.
Yeah.
You guys.
Super villain, I guess.
Kate Blanchett. So hot.
She's super hot.
Then we see her in like the green tinted armor.
Yeah.
When she's declaiming at Asgard. And then we see her in all her glory with the amazing hexadecimal helmet. And I'm not going to be able to think of anything else when I look at her. That's pretty great. Do we think those are like the 3 stages of this character? That the helmet is going to indicate the final conflict or some kind of final battle? Is she evolving like a Pokemon, I guess is what
I feel like it might actually go the opposite direction.
Really?
I don't know. I feel like I could see it going from her like showing up with the giant helmet and then taking it off to lead the war or whatever, like after she's made her grand entrance, and then later on she dresses down to go to Earth.
Well, I'm even wondering if like when we see that slow motion shot of her like rotating and surrounded by like just all this floating darkness or whatever, and you see that big giant hexadecimal helmet, I'm wondering if that is in a sequence where someone is going to be explaining to us who Hela is, and so we get like this like not quite flashback, but like this legend sequence where it's like, okay, well, this is who this person is, this is how powerful she is, this is how strong she destroyed so many worlds, blah 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 blah.
Just like the intro to The Dark World.
Yes, basically.
Thousands of years ago, Hela wore a big helmet.
Yes.
Nowadays,
scary.
not so much. I could see that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming, I guess, that Mjolnir is going to be destroyed really early.
Like super early, right?
I would think
Kind of
so.
has to be.
Yeah.
Though, so we don't see in the trailer Thor wielding Mjolnir on Asgard, as far as we can tell. There is the shot where fire rages across Asgard. Thor is apparently caught in that blast. Then we're led to believe from the editing in the teaser that he is hurled through the air and lands on the planet Sakaar.
Yes.
Which is an odd pull. We knew for a while, I think, that this was going to be a combination of Thor story and Hulk story, specifically the Planet Hulk story. Can you talk a little about Planet Hulk?
Yeah, Planet Hulk is basically when all the Marvel heroes, the major ones, the big brains in charge of everything.
The Illuminati.
Yeah, the Illuminati decide to get together and say, hey, we can't have Hulk on our planet anymore. He's too much of a risk. We have to do something with him. And they just eject him into space, hoping that he'll just like freeze and float in space and be done with forever. Because they can't just kill the Hulk. It's impossible, pretty much. So they do that, and without knowing, he lands on this planet, this gladiatorial planet, and fights his way up the ranks, builds an army, comes back to attack Earth and revenge.
Yeah, understandably so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's led to some very complicated 616 history surrounding Hulk, as if Hulk needed more complicated 616 history.
Right.
I think we're probably going to simplify that. Didn't you were saying before we sat down to record that you don't think we're going to do the Planet Hulk story? No. We're not going to have Hulk returning to Earth with an army of vengeance?
Yeah, I think it's too much to do and tell the Thor story.
I think you're probably right.
I think probably the most we're going to see is, I don't even know if that we'll get to view the story of Hulk getting to the planet. We might get that in like dialogue somehow.
Oh man, is it better or worse if we just totally skip that? If we just take it on faith, he's just there, and then we just are moving forward from that.
I don't know, honestly. I kind of like the idea that we'll just take it on faith and just never explain
it.
We do know that Ruffalo as Banner is going to be in the movie as well. Yeah. It's not just as Hulk.
Okay.
So I imagine he'll at least like comment up, but it'd be really funny if they just like threw a joke like, well, I just was on this trip and I found myself stranded here.
Yeah, I could see Taika Waititi having him do that beat where he's about to explain and then they're interrupted.
Yeah.
Right,
we just
exactly.
never go back to it.
Yes. I really hope that's what happens now.
But I don't think we'll get any of that coming up to it. And I think that the fight in the Colosseums is all that we'll see of the Planet Hulk story.
Yeah, I think it might be. The road trip element of this story is puzzling me because that might well explain how we end up on Sakaar. There is a shot in the trailer of this conspicuous wormhole kind of effect, not entirely dissimilar to the Stephen Strange teleport circles.
Yeah.
Which, and of course, Benedict Cumberbatch is apparently going to have some kind of role in this movie.
He's been confirmed
maybe a cameo.
to make an appearance.
Yes.
Okay.
So probably not a full role, but he's going to be around, so we can be using magic to get from place to place. That might work.
Now, Thor did show up in the post-credit scene of Doctor Strange. Am I remembering that right? Yeah. Okay, excellent. So cool. All right, that'll be interesting. What do we do with that? I have no idea.
Yeah, and I don't think that Loki is going to be friendly in this film. I think he is also going to be an antagonist because of the things that were set up and because of the extra scene at the end of Doctor Strange as well. And even in the teaser, you see him sitting with Jeff Goldblum's character up in the
viewing box of the gladiatorium.
Of the gladiatorial stadium. Yeah. So I think he's definitely knows that Thor's there, and he might even be a part of why Thor is there.
Right, which is really suggestive because there are shots of him fighting apparently on Asgard.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if he is going to be working with Hela, if that's going to be the beginning of that story.
So is Hela in, I mean, I know that the Thor comics deal with a lot of Norse mythology and stuff like that. So does Hela appear in the comics, and what's her situation there?
Yeah, in the comics, she's born in Jotunheim, the land of the giants, and she is the child of Loki, actually. Although a different incarnation who died in a previous Asgardian Ragnarok. It's complicated, I guess.
Well, Norse mythology also complicated.
Yes.
When she came of age, Odin appointed her as the goddess of death, giving her rulership over the dead in the realms of Hel and Niflheim. So
nice.
Which is really interesting and potentially suggestive too, because we have a character named Valkyrie here, who we see in the trailer, who is riding the feathered creature, the winged creature, the griffin, whatever the hell that is, and then falling from that apparently through the void. I'm not at all sure where they are fighting there. I'm reminded of the fact that Asgard floats. I'm reminded of the fact that Asgard is not anchored. I wonder if we're going to see the comprehensive destruction of Asgard.
Oh, wow. And where it ends up like the end of Neverending Story, where there's just floating asteroids everywhere.
And we've done something very similar to that in the comics, which resulted in Asgard being reformed in Braxton, Oklahoma. Actually, 6 feet above Braxton, Oklahoma.
Just 6 feet? That doesn't seem high enough.
No, just right there. You can touch it. It's fine. It's just Asgard. It's good. It's no problem. So we might be leading to something. We're never going to do that in the MCU. That's insane. What am I saying?
Well, we just had Logan in Oklahoma, so Oklahoma won't be in another movie for a while, I think.
So from there, we get to Jeff Goldblum's character, the Grandmaster. Thor ends up on Sakaar, is apparently immediately captured. It is very Star Wars, which is pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is taken to the gladiatorial arena, is apparently set to fight some great ominous monster that we'll get to in a minute, I suppose. What do you think of that sequence? Because even visually, that feels so much like Guardians of the Galaxy.
It feels exactly like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Precisely like Guardians of the Galaxy,
yes.
which I think is really smart, unifying Thor and Hulk with the Guardians side, the Marvel cosmic, the MCU cosmic side of things. I think is really smart leading up to Infinity War.
Exactly, it's a great introduction for that part of the universe.
Yeah, and lets us basically, instead of having 4 different approaches to that story, we get 2. We get the space side of things with Guardians and Thor and what have you, and then we get the Earth side with the Avengers. That should work out, I think, pretty nicely. I'm just not sure for me how Thor works in that kind of milieu. There's stuff here that I love. The helmet, I love.
His helmet is so cool.
It's so
Everyone's helmet game is freaking on point.
On point helmet game. Episode title right there. It just feels maybe just a little weird. And I'm also reminded when I look at Jeff Goldblum of Benicio del Toro as the Collector.
Yeah. They're like brothers, right? I mean, those guys are totally related, and we're going to find that out.
We're doing a similar thing.
Yes.
Which they are similar in the comics as well.
Yeah.
The Grandmaster in the comics is a ageless elder of the universe.
Sure.
So
how do you get to be one of those?
it just happens.
You just are? Okay,
really
cool.
tough
You just
application
get.
Awesome.
The interview process is really short, though. Are you one of these? No? Then I'm sorry, the position is not for you.
We also briefly see firing a machine gun the character Scourge, which is a character from the comics who's an Asgardian's supervillain who wields a magic double-bladed axe. We'll see if that makes an appearance. But
I saw him using a giant submachine gun. Does it like transform?
I don't know. But in the comics, he's in love with Enchantress. So I wonder if there's going to be anything there with him or not. Or maybe they'll just translate that over to Hela or something. I don't know.
Interesting.
Ooh, yeah.
And then basically we get some shots of combat. We get a really prominent shot of Idris Elba as Heimdall. He's coming back. Sif is coming back. Volstagg is coming back. So we know that there are going to be at least cameo appearances from these characters.
Sure.
So we're not completely leaving behind the mythology and the ensemble that we established in the first 2 Thor movies.
Right.
Which is great because those are the best parts of those movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't have Natalie Portman coming back.
That's probably fine. Yeah.
Do you think we're going to do a love interest with Thor? Is Valkyrie
him
a
and
potential?
Hulk?
Him and Hulk.
Bruce just really needs to get over the Black Widow. We need to like scrub that off from our memories.
The best fight, and then just at the end of it, they're just gonna hug it out, and they're just gonna be like, "That was amazing."
Yeah, this is slap, slap, kiss. This is what it is. That would be an unexpected ending to the pitched battle in the middle of the movie. I'm gonna tell you.
They just go in.
Are you as turned on as I am?
They just go in. They hit each other, but instead Thor just like caresses his arm, and they just look deeply through their eyes. And that's actually when we get the reaction shot of all of the crowd just silence, and Loki looks at Jeff Goldblum and is just like, what is happening?
Kind of into it. It's not too late, Marvel. You can still give us edit on this. It's fine. We can make your movie better.
Like Thor uses the lullaby on Hulk and suddenly it's Bruce again. God.
This is like one of those weird relationships where Thor does not care about Bruce Banner at all. He's in love with the Hulk.
And so he's going to make him angry all the time. Yeah. It's a very complicated relationship.
No, it's this polyamorous triad between Thor and Hulk and Widow.
Yep.
They can make it work. You know what? It's the modern world. They can make it work.
That's right.
It's going to be just fine. Sarah, I'm not sure you are going to be just fine.
Chase that bliss.
Let's pick up with the Colosseum while Sarah collects herself here, because this is the big thing. Basically, the back half of the teaser is this leading up to this fight between Thor and Hulk. There is contained within this a very prominent line. What do we think of the "he's a friend from work" joke?
It's my favorite effing thing in the universe. Great. It's so dadgum good.
Yeah, I like that Hulk shows up and Thor's reaction is the same as all of us watching. We're just like, yes!
Because it's like you anticipate, like when you see Hulk bust out, you anticipate that Thor is going to be like concerned and like, oh no, I had to fight my friend. He's so excited to see his buddy.
It's pretty great. Opinion on the internet is divided, as opinion on the internet always is.
Of course.
But the response is basically, this is the greatest thing ever, or this is why this movie is going to tank. Mm-hmm. I think, as I said, that the tone is going to be difficult, but I'm absolutely confident in the ability of everyone involved to do it. We don't talk a lot about Chris Hemsworth's ability as an actor to convey comedy.
Yes.
But he is very funny in the Thor movies.
Yeah, whenever you see those little shots of what was Thor doing during Civil War, and he's like with his roommate Craig or whatever,
which the shorts were also directed by Taika Waititi.
Okay, so that makes perfect
totally
sense.
Consistent too.
All right, excellent. Yeah, well, Chris Hemsworth does really excellent work. He's very, very good. He can be, serious and brooding and all of that whenever we need him to be, but he also can be really hysterical. Yeah. I'm thinking about the very beginning of Age of Ultron after, whenever Widow turns to him and she's like, hey, Thor, report on the Hulk or whatever, and he's like, yes, all of his enemies are screaming in hell or whatever, and all that. It's really good. There's a gout and such. They're fine.
They're fine. No one died. It's fine. Not fatal injuries.
Not fatal injuries.
I hope we get some kind of reference to those shorts that make them for sure canon. that would be amazing to me.
I don't think we're going to. Back in phase 1, Marvel released the one-shot shorts on every DVD, usually relating to the previous movie. A lot of S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff, a lot of incidental little stories. Those are, strictly speaking, canonical, but none of them, I think, have ever been confirmed within the movies. So my guess is going to be we're not going to reference that. I think that's probably a little obscure. There may be an Easter egg in there for people who have seen that short, or for people who are watching all the attendant material.
Right.
I would be surprised if the short wasn't on the Blu-ray release. Almost certainly it's going to be there.
Yeah.
But I think tonally that speaks to a great sense of purpose and intent.
Mm-hmm. But how great would it be if Hela just shows up at Craig's apartment? And that's how this starts out.
Oh my God, that's genius! Like
The
you
whole
just
story.
open up the movie and it's like Craig like making scrambled eggs or something, and then in busts Hela looking for Thor.
No. Craig is dating Hela. She picked him up to get into his apartment because she knew that's where Thor is. That's why she's dressed like a Hot Topic girl, because she knew he was into that.
Oh, look, we're all into that.
Oh God. We have to write for Marvel.
We're super, I've been saying this for a while, so we're super into the he's a friend from work line.
Yes.
I love the titanic clash of these two figures, Thor hurling himself into combat even without Mjolnir. I am most intrigued, though, about the fact that Loki is sitting with the Grand Master.
Yeah.
That is enormously suggestive.
Yeah.
I'm really interested in what they're going to do with Loki in this movie.
It's really interesting how similar Hela's aesthetic and Loki's aesthetic are basically the same aesthetic. It's like goth kids, green clothes, the
which
green,
could make
black, and dark.
sense
Yeah.
if we're pulling from the comics and she is also of Jotunheim.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know quite what we're going to do with her. She hasn't been mentioned. She hasn't been established previously.
Right.
So we're going to have some kind of intro to her. It is possible that she is going to be in Muspelheim, which is basically the fiery hell of Norse mythology, which it would seem to me is where Thor is at the beginning.
At the beginning when he's wrapped in chains.
Exactly right.
Before his sweet haircut.
Piece to camera, yes. What do you think of the haircut, Sarah?
I like it quite a bit.
Yeah.
I think it's good. I love whenever he walks into the stadium and he's got like the red paint like smeared down the side of him, and it's also like in the hair. I think it looks good.
Yeah. He's my sweet tough boy.
Yeah.
I completely agree. I think he looks amazing. And I think Hulk looks amazing. Armored Hulk.
Yeah.
Looks
everything I wanted.
Fantastic. So we're in then, basically.
I think so.
Yeah, I think and I hope that, like I said at the beginning, that this is like the first 25% of this film, everything you see in the teaser, and the road trip part comes in, that now Hulk and Thor have to escape this planet and get back to wherever, to find Hela, to save Asgard or rebuild Asgard, however that works. But I hope that's the road trip part of this movie, is Thor and Hulk, traveling to wherever they need to go.
Yeah, I'm still not sure about it, because when we see the blast, the fiery blast on Asgard, and if we're drawing the right inference that Thor is hurled by that blast off of Asgard, and we know that this can happen because it happened to Loki. This is how Loki wound up in Sanctuary with Thanos.
Yes.
So if you fall from Asgard, you wind up somewhere.
Somewhere, usually somewhere bad, apparently.
So if Thor winds up randomly on Sakaar, which apparently he does, why is Loki there? How does Loki get there?
That's what made me think that Loki somehow orchestrated him getting there.
This is what I wonder. So we'll see how that all works out. I'm really interested in the wormhole stuff. I think we might be doing something a little more purposeful than he accidentally winds up on Sakaar. Because if Hulk winds up there accidentally, and then Thor, and then Loki, I don't know. It's maybe a little too convenient.
I also feel like I hope that there's some kind of reaction. I just thought of this to the Loki Hulk scene from Avengers, the puny god scene. I hope there's some kind of Loki getting to say something about that.
They have history, that's for sure. So we're in. It's going to be great. There's basically 100%. No way that we're not going to do a full Excelsior podcast
about
of course, Thor Ragnarok when it comes out.
Yes.
If you're looking forward to the next Marvel MCU movie, then we're going to talk about Guardians in 3 weeks, something like that. When Guardians comes out, I think that'll probably be that week's episode. How do you guys feel about Guardians, to kind of put these two things together, this cosmic comedic side of the MCU?
I quite enjoy it. I quite enjoy Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm looking forward to Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It is very, very, very different from, which it should be, from like all of our Earth-centric stuff that we've been doing with all of our other heroes. But it gets to be like bright and colorful and insane, and like the very best parts of like Star Trek and Star Wars, and also Marvel, crashing them all together. And I think that I think that by virtue of being a little bit more separate from reality, they get to be a little goofier and a little funnier, I think. You don't get to be quite as funny whenever it's, cat punching Nazis.
That's absolutely fair. Vinton, how do you feel about Guardians?
Yeah, I love Guardians. It really excited me to see in theaters, and they had this tone of this fun feeling. And I'm really excited to go into volume 2, as it were, to see if they can bring that level of epicness that I know Guardians can be, as well as the fun that we're seeing here in the teaser for Thor. I'm hoping that we get some of that, because that's my favorite thing, is when you can have a whole lot of fun. It can be bright and colorful, but there's also this sense of like epicness and urgency, and just the stakes are really high as well.
So of the 3 MCU movies which are in our immediate future, or MCU adjacent, we've got Guardians Volume 2, we've got Spider-Man Homecoming, and we've got Thor Ragnarok. Which of those 3 are you most excited for? Vinton, I'm asking you because I'm astonished by the answer, I guess.
Spider-Man, I've been super excited about because I'm like, oh, they're finally doing Spider-Man right. I love Spider-Man. This is going to be amazing. And then this teaser dropped and I was like, oh, this is the best trailer I've ever seen from the MCU. I don't know what to do with this information because I'm betraying Spider-Man, but I actually want to see this movie more than Spider-Man.
For what it's worth, I think Spider-Man would also really want to see Thor.
Yeah,
no, he absolutely would. Yeah,
I want to see the movie too.
Yeah.
Sarah?
Mm-hmm. Oh gosh. I mean, I think that's hard to say. Like, I really am super excited. I'm looking forward to seeing Spider-Man Homecoming because I'm excited to see Vinton on screen in front of me, like being the Spider-Man I always knew that he was meant to be.
Also possibly sitting beside you in the movie theater.
Yes,
with
while I
wide eyes,
shake him wildly.
Bald fists in his mouth.
That's, by the way, literally what happened when we went to go see Civil War together. Spider-Man showed up and I just like grabbed Vinton and like shook him bodily in the theater.
True.
And I was like, it's you. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm really stoked for all of them. I love Marvel movies, and I'm really looking forward to all three of these. I don't know if I have one that I'm like looking forward to. I think that I'm looking forward to Guardians least.
Yep.
So I guess it's Spider-Man and Thor at a tie right now.
I'm a little concerned about Guardians. I'm hopeful that they're going to be able to break out of their format, but in the teaser trailer that we got for Guardians, there's a lot of Guardians Volume 1.
Yes.
We get a lot of Rocket being Rocket and a lot of Drax being Drax.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love me some Rocket Raccoon.
I need there to be a story. I'm not so excited. If this is just, the team being the team for 90 minutes, or not for 90 minutes, what are we, in 1991? No, they're going to be the team for 2.5 hours, and that's fine, but I really want that, as you were saying, that epic story. I want there to be some change and some purpose. And of course, because Guardians is leading into Infinity War 2, I think we'll get that, I'm pretty sure. But I need there to be something. God, if it's just 2.5 hours of Baby Groot, that might tax my patience a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I think we see some epic level stuff in the trailer, so I think we're going to get more of that.
Yeah.
I feel like I should bring up that my phone just lit up with a notification that Cable has been cast in Deadpool 2.
What?
And why this is really something that needs to be brought up right here, right now on this particular minisode, it's going to be Josh Brolin, which he's already Thanos in the Marvel Universe, so...
No.
Yeah, apparently.
Really?
Yeah, that's what it says. The official breaking news. Deadpool 2 cast Josh Brolin as Cable.
So Fox literally just flipped off the entire MCU and was like, we're taking Thanos. We're taking Thanos.
Interesting. Okay. The role of Cable in Deadpool 2 is going to be curious.
We have no idea what that's going to look like.
Unsure.
Okay, yeah, no, we'll have
that. Cable is the son of Jean Grey and Scott Summers.
Wait,
from the
really?
future.
Yep,
yes,
in the future.
Yes, he was sent into the future where he was raised by the Ascani and then sent back to do various things through the 90s, most of which were terrible. But he's most notable for appearing in Generation Hope, where he comes back to basically spend time with Hope, the first mutant baby who was born after.
Aw, that's precious.
Yep.
It's a pretty good series, actually.
And he raises her, time jumping through things, training her to be a soldier because everyone wants to kill her.
Yes, Cable jumping through time with baby Hope while being pursued by Bishop is a pretty great series.
That sounds amazing.
It runs way too long. It runs about twice as long as it should.
Oh, that's
but
unfortunate.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I read all of it. It was worth it.
Yeah, do you have it? I'm going to have to borrow that.
Yeah.
So really quick before we finish up this minisode,
we're rapidly in danger of this minisode just being a sode.
Just an episode. You know what? We'll talk about Saga next week. Fuck it, it's fine. So can we talk just like super quick about like where are we at on like Infinity Gems?
We know that there are 6 Infinity Gems in the MCU. Those are the Space, Mind, Reality, Power, Soul, and Time Gems. The Space Gem is the Tesseract.
Okay.
That's the one that gives you control over space and travel. The Mind Gem is the yellow gem that Vision has now that was in Loki's scepter.
Right,
So
which
we
was
know
given to
about
him
that.
by Thanos, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The Reality Gem is the Ether from Thor the Dark World.
Okay.
That's that black, gooey, glowy stuff. The Power Gem is the orb from Guardians that ended up with the Collector. Mm-hmm. And then the Time Gem is the Eye of Agamotto that Stephen Strange has.
Okay.
We do not have the Soul Gem. We don't know anything about that or where it resides or...
Do you guys think that there's a possibility that we're going to get this either in Ragnarok or Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
Guardians 2, if I had to guess.
You think so?
I don't see how we're going to get a soul. Well, okay, but here's the thing. Hela's the god of death.
Yes.
We've got a Valkyrie. We may be dealing with life and death. If we're dealing with life and death, that might be an angle on the Soul Gem. So this may actually be a means of introducing that. And that would certainly account. Hela's destructive power certainly seems to match the kind of output that we expect from an Infinity Gem.
My original thought was Guardians just because it looks like from the trailer we're going to see the floating dead Celestial that they make their home base. I thought maybe that might be there for some reason.
Also likely, It's possible we may see it in both. I don't know. I'm curious about the connections between Guardians 2 and Thor Ragnarok.
Right,
But either way, we're building up to Infinity War, and I'm very excited. I can't wait for that. That is going to be
excited.
I can't imagine how big that is going to be.
It's going to be ridiculous. Like, are we going to have everyone in that movie? Like,
don't we have to? In those movies, I guess.
In those movies? Like,
I genuinely don't. That is going to be potentially the biggest story.
It's going to be completely unprecedented, right? Like, here's 30 main characters. Here you go. Figure it out.
Good luck.
Good luck. Hope that your favorite gets all the screen time you wanted them to get. Like, Garen, gosh darn to you, she will not.
I don't know who you're talking about, Sarah. Who's your favorite character in the MCU again?
That would be Wanda Maximoff.
Oh, okay, right. You don't mention her much as well.
No, I know. I'm very aloof about my feelings. It's really difficult. I would like to personally thank Vinton, who did send me a link on Twitter saying this will bring you joy, and it was all of the shots of Lizzie Olsen as Wanda in the Infinity War, just like the stills of like her working, and it was everything I ever wanted. Thank you, thank you.
And with that, I think we should probably wrap up this minisode and then go and record our real episode.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Because we still have to talk about Volume 1 of Saga, which is coming not this week, as you were listening to Excelsior, but the following week. This week we're discussing Captain America, the First Avenger. That was a really fun discussion. Thank you so much for listening to this episode.
Thank you guys so much once again from Common Room Radio. I'm Sarah K. Bazant.
I'm Alistair Stevens.
And I'm Vinton Bain, and Asgard is dead!
Excelsior!